let me now introduce Kauê de Sousa. He'll be talking today about the review of Tricot principles in data analysis workflows. And Kauê is an applied ecologist at the Alliance of Bioversity and CIAT, specializing in agrobiodiversity, climate adaptation, and participatory research. He holds a degree in forestry from the Federal University of Amazonas in Brazil and an MSc in tropical agroforestry from CIAT, Costa Rica. And his PhD is in applied ecology and biotechnology from the University of Inland, Norway. Kauê's work bridges ecological science, digital innovation, and local knowledge to support sustainable farming in biodiverse regions. Over the past decade, Kauê has helped scale the Tricot approach across Latin America, Africa, and Asia. He leads the capacity building work package in the Thousand Farms project and develops analytical workflows for the Climb platform. And I know that many of you know Kauê personally. This is going to be an interesting talk, and we look forward to hearing from you now, Kauê. So I'll unshare my screen and you can start sharing yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. So let me just take a moment to share here. Then this. So I hope that everybody can see my screen.
Yes,
Nice.
that's good.
So I've been tasked to talk about some of the principles of Tricot. Over the last weeks, we were talking about the experience of partners and people in our partners in Thousand Farms. But now we are going to do a kind of step back, and we are going to talk about what is Tricot and what we want to address with that. And also a bit of the back end of it, what you can do with the data. So my expectation is that after you leave this webinar, you feel that if you don't know so much about Tricot, you feel that you know what it's about and what it can address. And also, if you know about Tricot, I hope that you also feel motivated to keep doing it, because I will show some cases of a data integration and what can be done with the Tricot data, and what are the advancements that we've been achieving over the last years. So of course, I did this presentation, but this also has a lot of inputs from all the Thousand Farms team. So it's not only me talking here. I'm sure that I'm talking on behalf of the whole team. Of course, the issues, when we design a trial, we try to address some issues. And in the case of Tricot, there are 4 issues that we really look for. It's basically variety turnover. We know that in most of the countries, in the global south, variety turnover is really low. People take a lot of time to adopt it, and there are many issues related to that. But one of the issues is when the farmers don't know exactly which varieties are in the system available, and how they perform under their conditions. The other thing, of course, is climate change, climate variability. Adopting a new variety when you don't know how they perform is also a risk when you think about the climate, because you don't know if the climate that you are facing in your farm will be good to have this variety. The other issue is, okay, people think, okay, we can involve farmers so we can get to know what they think about our varieties. This is called participatory plant breeding or participatory variety selection. But there are also issues that has been identified in the literature, about the farmer active participation. Sometimes when you involve the centralized locations with farmers, they generally don't go in all the crop stages, so the participation is really low or really sporadic, so you don't really get the sense of what the farmers think about the crop, or even the farmers don't really know exactly how the crop performs because they don't observe across the season. Another issue that we also try to address, and it's the issue that people don't talk so much now with the era of data. Maybe people are talking more, but if we think about 10 years ago, people didn't talk about that so much. Is about data capturing and data standards. One of the issues when we are trying to get data from variety performance on farm is about good data capturing platforms, good data standards, and ability to integrate that data with other data sources. So basically, I think that my personal belief now, issue number 4 is one of the big ones, because without addressing issue number 4, you cannot address properly issue number 1, 2, and 3. So that's why I made it clear, like these two things on the figures, the participation of farmers, and also how you can use data to guide your decisions in a data-driven way. Thinking about that, well, the team, back in 2010, somehow, something like this in the 2010s, developed a Tricot approach, which is the meaningful triadic comparison of technologies. Tricot is an approach that tries to join the best of existing approaches. Is something that the novelty of Tricot is basically bringing together lots of things that can come together that make a lot of sense, and also contribute to scaling on-farm testing. One of the things that is really built on Tricot is citizen science. So basically, citizen science is not new on the agriculture. It comes from ecology. If you read any paper on bird ecology in US, for example, Cornell Lab is really famous about that, on that. Basically, all the research is done on citizen science data, and people always argue, that there is some noise on the data, and it's true. So that's you compensate that with the high volume of data. So that's one approach to take on this as well. So when you establish a Tricot trial, you need to think about that you are doing a citizen science trial where the farmers are part of it and they are active parts, and also there are researchers doing that. So this is something that you need to have in your mind. Another thing that it's built on Tricot is on-farm testing, the testing under the local conditions. So it's very common now in North America, and also in Europe, when the farmers, they take the milking records for their own use, and then they help the breeders with genomic data. And also then on-farm testing helps in capturing the performance under local conditions. So this is also part of the Tricot. So this also creates lots of noise in the data, but we don't consider this noise as a nuisance as people do in RCBD trials, in randomized control block designs. Basically, the noise that we create on that data is something that we use to explain the variability on the performance. Digital agriculture, I'm not talking about the high-end things like drones and so on, but I'm talking about very simple solutions, phones, and enabling a digital infrastructure to allow you to collect and analyze your data properly. And of course, participatory research, we should think that the farmers, should consider that, that the farmers are at the center of the design of every product that we have. So these 4 principles are basically the main thing on Tricot that we need always to keep this in the heart when you're designing a trial. Okay, I try to bring that in all the talks. Of course, when I talk about Tricot, I work for the Alliance of Bioversity and CIAT, but Tricot is not something that belongs to the Alliance of Bioversity and CIAT in the sense of the knowledge, that knowledge base. Tricot is built on a multi-institutional partnership on trust of many actors. We have the Alliance leading that, but we have lots of other CG centers, IITA, SIP, CIMIT, leading that as well, and universities, University in Norway, Wageningen, and all the NARIs, like NARIs in Africa, also giving all this support, and also the funders, part of this multi-stakeholder partnership. So Tricot is built on that thing, and that's one of the reasons that it's successful in that reason. It's not only led by a small team, but for this whole bunch of institutes. Tricot compared to other approaches. People always say, yeah, you're talking about that and it looks like mother-baby trials. Yeah, it looks exactly like mother-baby trials. But the focus on Tricot is more on the babies. We think about that it's more important. We need to focus on the performance under the local under the farmer conditions, which are the babies in the model baby trial design. Also, Tricot, it's more focused on farmers testing only 3 technologies out of a large number. No, when I talk about 3, people think that there's only 3 in the whole design. No, it's 3 per farm, so it's an incomplete block. I will share the next slide on that. Of course, one of the differences that the varieties are assigned randomly as an incomplete block. So one of the beauties of Tricot in that sense is that the randomization is basically the core of it. So if you don't do proper randomization, you're basically wasting resources. So that's one of the key things. And the technologies, they are assigned anonymously to avoid bias. Notice in modern baby trials or other approach, sometimes the farmer, they had the chance to choose which variety they will adopt. And then that's one of the reasons. And then there is one strong emphasis on how the data is stored and maintained and collected. So basically, this is an overview of how Tricot works. We set up the platform called CleanMob, which I work more on the data part of it. CleanMob is the one doing the randomization for you, and it prepares the packages. You go to the farm, you will register this with a QR code. The farmer set up the trials. Farmers will evaluate that using rankings. So they will tell you which one is the best, which one is the worst for a given set of traits. You aggregate the data and you analyze, and I will talk about that in the next slides. Tricot is an incomplete block design. So this means that you set up the trials randomly, but also in a very structured way. So even if you lose packages or if the farmer decide to leave the project, the trial, you can still keep the structure of the design because the design follows what we call the optimal design. And then the farmer will tell you which variety is the best overall for a given trait. In that case, for example, overall performance, and which one is the worst. So then you do like this kind of a best worst scaling. You focus on this. So this is much easier for any human brain to operate. I have this slide on the incomplete block design, which is funny for people that like, say, football. I will not extend on that, but people always say, oh, I want to have the Czech variety in all my blocks. Why don't you put the Czech varieties in all the farms? And the question that I say, you don't put Germany to play against all the people in the same game, no? So this is something that I got from FIFA World Cup, last World Cup. FIFA had the statistics for the game Costa Rica Germany, even though they never had played before in the past. And then how they did that, because Costa Rica played against Spain and Japan, and also Germany played against Spain and Japan. So FIFA could match and then could estimate the performance probability of encounter of both countries because they had a common player. And this is how this approach works. So I always bring that because it makes more sense for them when you put a football on it. People say also about a fourth plot. I've seen lots of this, and people saying, I need to add a fourth plot in my trial. And that's true, we can do that. But as CIMIT and IITA do that as well. And my recommendation is that you evaluate that as a benchmark. So you're benchmarking this local variety against the 3 that you are putting on Tricot. So what CIMIT does, for example, in Zimbabwe, is that they plant the plot equally, the same size as the 3 plots, and then they do in the same date. So then the farmer can do evaluation assessing how the local variety performs. This variety is not built on the design. Sometimes you can put anonymously, but generally the farmer already know what they have as a fourth plot. And they can be the farmer variety, that's why the colors are different as well. And then how do we evaluate is that we ask the farmer which variety is the best and the worst for against the A. Is the local variety better or worse than the A? Is the local variety better or worse than the B, or variety better or worse than the C? So the data is recorded in that way here, like worse, better, and then we add that to the analysis as a pairwise, but it's not built on the conceptual design of it. Record the name of the local variety is important to know that, so you need to record the name. And what I'm going to show you is some examples. For example, in Nicaragua, What people do is that they have the three varieties here, the three Tricot varieties here, but they have the local plot big. It's a big plot. They plant it all together in the same day, and then the farmers don't make a small plot, to a small plot. But if you want to do yield assessment, like getting the metric yield from your plot, I recommend that you have a standard plot for the fourth plot. So then you can have the same standards. You know? So that's how IITA is doing with cassava, for example. So they have ABC and the local. So all they have the same size, and then they collect the yield so they then can compare the plots. Another thing that people do is that they put like this, ABC, and then people call D. I don't recommend you to do that, okay? So if you call another plot D, you can create confusions, and also you make I don't know how, if you are going to rank that. So basically the local plot is the benchmark, and you don't have another D, so you then, instead of doing best worst scaling, you need to rank, and this is more difficult for any human brain, okay? Uh, in summary, this is how Tricot works. And I'm really proud of this paper because this is a work that we've been doing with many people. We have 84 co-authors here. This is kind of also to agree with what I was saying about the multi-stakeholder network. I would just jump, if you allow me, for more 10 minutes on the software, on the design, on the data analysis, the back end of it, you know, what you can get with the data. So in our team, we develop cleanup tools, you know, like a lot of tools for cleanup to operate and to integrate the data and to analyze and work on it. So these all are packages that we maintain, develop and maintain in the team. So the description of these are in this paper, you know, in the bottom of the slide, and I will share the slides with you guys. Just to tell you that the analysis that we do with Tricot mostly is with ranks, but it's also possible to collect metric data, you know, like a yield or days to flowering. All of this is also possible to be done, but rankings are much easier because you can combine the data very easy, and you don't need to waste or take so much time in cleaning data, no? The data is analyzed with this model called Placket Loose, which is a model that computes, estimates the probability of one variety outperforming or beating all the others in the set. So this is based on what we call loose axiom, which is a model that comes from economics. So it's a very standard model in economics and psychology. So we use that. Basically, the data analysis framework works this. You have the data here, and then you have the codes for the best and the worst, as the farmers indicated to you. And then we will transform this into rankings in the second thing here. I don't know if you can see my here. So you have these rankings here. And then what we can do with these rankings with Placket Loose is that you can estimate the log worth, which is the probability of outperforming all the others. So this one is the reference here. And with this value here, as the value was big, you can like as higher than the reference, you get the best varieties. So with this, you can do a lot of derived analysis, like a model-based partitioning, linear regression, ranking regression, genetic gain, and all these things. So basically, the data workflow on CleanMob works like this. You have the farmers contributing with their rankings, and then you put the data all together. You also put covariates, data from external sources, like a management, socioeconomic, laboratory data, weather data, and then you run that on CleanMob automatically. This generates for you reports, which you can then later send simplified reports feedback to farmers, so they know what they did. And this is part of the citizen science approach, when people are informed on what they did, no? And then also this goes to the researchers, and sometimes the researchers, they ask for let's say they ask for data analysis, more data analysis. So what we do is that we do it locally, and if the data can be generalized, the analysis can be generalized, we feed it back to CleanMob. And now I will show to you 4 case studies of data integration very quickly. all these are published research that you can go back to the papers and then you can see on details. I will just show something that maybe in the papers I don't even draw. Maybe for the next papers I can put this drawing. No? The first one, which was one of the, let's say, first or maybe the second one that we started, is basically getting cleanup data together with breeding data. Sometimes the data is in breed base. Unfortunately, sometimes the data is in the disk of the breeder, so you need to request this data. But what you can do is that you send the variety data, and then you get back the blobs, the best linear unbiased I forgot the what the PS means, but so then you get the blobs, and then you send it back to the data. You can use socioeconomic data to get the performance of varieties based on ethnic groups, for example, in the case of this paper, and also the blobs also help you in understanding how the varieties from the data that you collect in the laboratory, how this correlates to what farmers tell or what consumers tell you under a Tricot approach. So for example, here in this case, we saw that for this group here, for example, the color of the gari, of the cassava gari, is really important when they are assessing the quality of it. So this is something that you can do by combining cleanup data, Tricot data with breeding data. Another approach, which this is basically the first one that we did, is interoperability with weather data. So you have the Tricot data here. Since you have the planting date and the longitude and latitude, you can easily get climate data from lots of sources. Now there are many sources available. And then what these sources give to you back is the climate indices. We also have a tool for that. So it gives to you the climate indices. And then you can plug these climate indices to the ranking, and then you can get like a performance of a crop based on the night temperature, for example, based on dry season or all stuff like that. And since you have the GPS and the planting dates, you can easily extrapolate the performance to create this kind of recommendation maps for seasons. No? So this is one approach as well. Another approach, which is actually something that was published yesterday, is about interoperability with socioeconomic data, using also sometimes trying to explain this with large language models. So for example, you can use Tricot data. You can plug this to ROMI surveys or like any other socioeconomic survey. And then you can create, for example, clusters of farmers, to know, for example, which farmers are grouping better, which are the best socioeconomic characteristics to explain how these farmers take decisions. And then using large language models, what we do is that we use the socioeconomic data to characterize these farmers, to describe it. No, you're not doing the analysis, but you're using large language models to characterize and describe what are the main characteristics of these farmers and create what we call the persona-like farmers, like a persona-based approach. So then you get these things when you have like basically market segments for variety for variety placement. The other one, which was also released this year, is integrated with open-ended responses. So sometimes the farmers, they give to you the response in an open way. They say why they don't like this variety and why they like openly. And what you can do is that you can use data mining techniques to actually understand why the farmers are talking, like why taking these decisions. So then you can do kind of this type of neural networks, or you can also do correlation analysis, like a multivariate analysis, So this is also a nice approach if you are using open-ended questions in a more qualitative research. All the details are in this paper, so you can just go to there, and I'm here just to make you more curious about what can I do with the data. In summary, Tricot is a citizen science approach, so keep that in mind, is a citizen science approach built on a multi-institutional partnership as well. It's not only Alliance, Bioversity, and CIAT, it's everybody work really hard to have this done. It enables scaling and decentralized trails to offer a robust experimental design. Farmers, they are exposed to crop diversity and under local conditions. And of course, by linking the data to many data sources, you can get lots of information to do like a variety recommendations, or even climate analysis, or understanding why farmers take decisions or why they don't like some varieties. So this is really cool, and I think that is one of the beauties of having this approach in that way, that you collect the data in a very structured way. Okay, so this is what all I have to present to you. I think I passed a bit of my time, but I hope that you enjoyed, and thank you. Over to you, Rachel.
Thank you very much, Kauê. Give you a real clap, not a virtual one. Okay, that's very informative, and I'm sure we've got some questions from the audience. So if you would like to ask Kauê a question, please raise your virtual hand or put it into the chat. You can ask him anything.
Anything about Tricot?
Nicholas, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Kauê. Thanks so much for the presentation. I am Nicolas and work in the US using Tricot approach with another tool, Seedlinked, and thanks so much for all this content. I have a question, Kauê. Can you analyze, you mentioned about open-ended question, like if you attach a text comment to best and worst ranking, so it's open text information from, let's say, a grower who want to add some totally open text comments. Do you have any way to, with new LLM or other model, to kind of add this to your analysis? Or
Yes, even without using LLM, the only thing is that you need to have a way to clean the data. So having a good way of create correcting some mistakes that people can make when they type is a good initial approach. So then you clean the data. So this is what we did with this Donovan paper. We kind of basically create a library of synonyms. So then we could translate the name. Sometimes the farmer say yield, and sometimes the farmer say yielding. So you need to match them into a single word. So this is the biggest problem you can do manually, but with LLM, you can even do it even better. And also another thing is also using voice recognition. Also, you people speak, and you transcribe, and then you analyze that. So once you have the library with the tokens and the name, the words, you can easily do lots of analysis. So basically the work there is just having this library. So it's something that you can do very quickly, and then after that you can just implement this. Soon this will be implemented on CleanMob actually for analysis.
great, thanks.
Thank you, Nicholas. I've got a second question from Omaleo. Go ahead. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, proceed.
Thank you very much. I say, how can it account for the variation among the farmers in their scoring or in their ranking? How do we account for the variation? Because they are likely to be variation from one farmer to farmer, and that which will affect the value given to each one. And secondly, can't the Tricot be expanded to accommodate 4 farmers instead of 3? So the fourth variety will be the local check. So if it can be expanded to accommodate the fourth, then the issue of local variety will not be an issue. But I still believe you can still expand the model to accommodate 4 varieties. Thank you very much.
Yes. Can you repeat the first one? Because it was breaking. I didn't hear you in the first one. The second one I understand, but the first, no.
The first one is, how do you account for the variation among the farmers in scoring? Is that clear?
Yes. So what we do is that we have a standard survey, to a standard set of questions that we ask the farmer, for example, about any management practice that they did to the trial. So you already captured this, like what was the previous land use, which type of management did you use, how did you prepare the land? All these questions we ask them. So this is also based on literature on-farm testing when people recommend this type of questions to capture this variance from farmers' fields. No? So this is one thing. I can even show to you the literature. It's a kind of a very extensive literature review on on-farm trials. The second thing, yes, it's possible to put a fourth variety. Actually, people do that. But I don't recommend you to have a fourth variety trial because otherwise people will need to make a ranking instead of a best worst scaling. So you need to, the farmers will have more trouble because then basically it's a kind of a human capacity, no? That it's much easier for you to focus on the edges of things instead of making you to make a ranking, for example, can you rank for me the best 4 samosas in Kenya, for example? So then you have the trouble because you need to put them in a place, you need to order them. But if I ask you which this samosa from this place or this place, which one is the best and which one is the worst, it's much easier for you because you can focus and you can be more assertive in your answers. So it's possible, but I don't recommend for these reasons on the brain not being really good in working with the rankings.
Okay, thank you very much,
Thank you.
Amaleo. Next question is from Edward Carey. Go ahead, Edward.
Hi, Kauwe.
Hi, Ted.
My question is one that I had before, which is, has any progress been made on, let's say, simplified feedback reporting for farmers? I was involved in doing some Tricot work and sort of got stuck at the end because of that. But I did make my own feedback, which was sort of simplified, and I don't know if the farmers liked it or not.
Actually, we had a team doing that last month in Nigeria. They were with IITA doing feedback evaluation and doing the evaluation of the process, no? Evaluating the feedback paper and also the process of the feedback. So I'm actually looking forward to get the report of this work that they did last month in Nigeria.
Right.
And also there are other work in Rwanda, as far as I know. So this is something that we are actually basically getting back because people are forgetting about it. So I know that during COVID, people didn't pay attention to that because of many health reasons, no? But after the end of the COVID, I'm trying to restore that because it's very easy for people not to give the feedback. It's much easier.
Right. Yeah. Especially if the project's over, and you
Yes.
get all the data and you're analyzing it and you say, okay, that's the answer. And then, oops, that we didn't keep a budget because it's not even a small cost to go and get back to your farmers. Let's say if you have 400 farmers, you have to have a good method, of disseminating that feedback back, which is very important. So thanks. We look forward to it. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Edward. Question from Adani Tufa. Please unmute and ask your question.
Yes, thank you very much. It's really a nice presentation, eye-opening. There are so many things. But one thing, I'm an agricultural economist. I know other softwares, other platforms to collect data. And I see few things maybe to consider and to improve the ClimeMob. And number one is the number of words to put as a question. There is a limitation. You cannot write a long sentence. A phrase, a long phrase. And the other thing is once you move the question, and it is not easy to edit it, and those things, there are other things I forgot for the time being, but it is like it is very rich, it is very good, and even it is something maybe the socio-economists should also take a lot of things when it comes especially to when it comes to randomization and so on and so on. and randomized control trial, people may think of this using this one, but it has also those few limitations. And is there anything going on to improve it? And otherwise, it is very amazing, very good.
Yes.
Thanks.
Thank you. So what is your crop in the institute?
I work for ITA, and we are using, maybe Dean
But it's for maize or for cassava?
for soybean.
Soybean. So what we're doing now is that we are implementing more guidelines on the standard operating procedures for Tricot. So since we are based on projects now, we have 1,000 farms and also we have a bold project which are from 2 centers now. We need to prioritize some crops. So, but for example, now we are prioritizing sweet potato and maize, for example, for both projects. But we have we are now working on SOPs. Now, basically, SOPs is creating a standard protocol of questions and traits that needs to be asked in the trials, no? And then you get a more, like, say, standardized ways, even more standard than what we have now. So, and then you have these questions in the size of you want, now, because this is basically a community-driven SOP. It's not me, it's not myself creating the SOP. It's basically the crop expert with the help of the 1,000 Farms team creating the SOPs with the community. So soybean will be one of the crops as well eventually. But we will be working on that. We will have a plan for that. Now, as now Tricot is going to be embedded in the CG, let's say, on farm testing, So we were going to get to you eventually, and I hope to get your support in making it better. So all these comments we all take to as a way to make it better. But also we always expect the team and the crop experts to help us in making it make sense for your crop, and for the region. So yes, this is actually under development.
Yeah, that's great. It is more of the socioeconomics part.
Yes.
Interested in than the crop. The crop one is well developed actually.
Yes.
But
the socioeconomic one we need to get in.
Yeah.
Sorry, yes. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. That is where I'm more interested, and it has also it's not only the size of the phrase, the number of words, but it also has some limitation on the number of questions to put under one moment. And
yeah,
there are few things that I observed because I was using it, and I put I was putting some questionnaires. Not easy to edit. Number of questions under a moment, and also number of words for a question, and those things. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Adane, for the useful feedback. That helps us improve the system. Any other questions? Nicolas, your hand is up again. Go ahead.
Sorry, I have another question for you, Kauê.
Sure.
In climate data, yeah, I love the publication in 2019 you had with Jacob. Can you now, like, if you don't know any coverable, let's say you don't know if it's maybe the number of the above 32 degrees C during flowering, or can you just let it open-ended and just feed climate data, and large model will kind of figure out what are the signal in the large climate data interacting with the Tricot, or do you have to have kind of structured of like, okay, I want to know the precipitation. Is the precipitation at emergence as an impact, or can you just let it compute and figure it out?
I never tried that, but in the first paper we had to make it. We had to make a point of agronomically speaking, So what we did is that I computed the growing degree days. So we created a kind of windows for each of the crop stages for beans, for example. So then the idea was to show to the scientific community that if you have something that is agronomically reasonable speaking, if it makes sense agronomically, this would be something that you can explain with the Tricot data and climate. So this was the reason behind of this paper. So I'm going ahead of things, but actually Rachel, her work is not only on doing this webinar. Actually, from this year now, she will be doing that specifically, not specifically what you say, but she will be working on the ecophysiology of Tricot data. No, so this is basically Rachel is a ecophysiologist with lots of experience in insect and banana. So she will be using her expertise on that two crops to bring lots of new insights to Tricot. So we hope to get these things moving this year and the next, at least as a novel ways of doing analysis of Tricot.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, we can stay in touch, Nicolas, about
Yeah, I would love to. Love data, but struggling to kind of structure it and maybe if I don't see another question, can you plug a picture analysis too with Jacob or with those Tricot, or have you done image analysis information pair with Tricot?
There is a project going on, which actually I saw that that Hannah was here. She is the project manager for a grant called Artemis, and they use the Tricot logic to do what is the name of this? Oh my God, I forgot the name. It's a phenotyping, crop phenotyping on farm. So they take pictures and they are using analyzing it. So the model is huge. So there are a lot of interest in this grant, and they are advancing that area of image analysis. So if you want to talk about this, you should talk with Hannah. She's here, and then you can check her name here. I don't know if she left, but she was here in the beginning. But I can
That would
send.
be, yeah, great. If I would love to be connected with. We're doing a lot of seed bank screening, and in North America, we can ask farmer with their phone to take a lot of visual reviewing, but then we're
Yes, so
wondering how
it's
can
good
we analyze those data.
yeah, it's good to be in touch with Hannah and the Artemis team.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you, Nicolas. Are there any further questions for Kauwe? I see in the chat that there's a lot of appreciation for the presentation, and also a few questions about where to find the video of this presentation. And I've answered that it is on our community, it will be on our community website, which I'll show you the URL for again shortly. In about a week, we just have to edit it and put it online. So you can find it there. If there aren't any further questions or comments, I don't see any, then we can close the webinar with many thanks to Kauwe for the presentation, very informative and led to some interesting exchanges as well. So that's very appreciated. And Kauwe has said that he'll put the slides on CG Space. You can access it in the description of the video on YouTube. So that's the video that I mentioned that will be on our community site. It's also, we have a YouTube channel, but let me just share with you quickly the information. If you can unshare your screen, Kauwe, oh, you already did. Okay, good. Let me just show you once more our online resources. So our project website, 1000farms.net, social media sites, and the community website is the last one there, and that's where the videos for all the webinars are, in addition to all the questions and answers. So, and then, yeah. So I think that's it for today. Thank you very much. Appreciate you all joining us, and we'll see you in a couple more weeks for our next webinar. Thank you. Have a good day.